You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
KFI Mo Kelly and Marsha Collier now, as it's Tech Thursday here. We're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. And Marsha Collier, I am a Google person through and through. The ecosystem is perfect for me and my lifestyle. I like to have the Google Chrome and all my browser tabs or my bookmarks wherever I go. If I log in on my phone or a work computer, whatever. But also beyond that, how I can use it with my phone for things like Google Lens.
Well, before the iPhone people come off the line, so you got to come back, iPhone folks. iOS, Google Lens is available for the iPhone, believe it or not. So what I got to tell you about it, I love Google Lens, but they have put some improvements in it. And I'll give you a little thing that just happened the other night. We were watching Only Murders in the Building. And Meryl Streep comes out, and she is wearing this really great jacket. This jacket was fabulous. So I froze the TV. I turned on Google Lens. And, I mean, it looked like a custom jacket, and indeed it is. And I found some weird company who called it Meryl Streep season, whatever it was, jacket from Only Murders in the Building.
Let's back up. For people who don't know what Google Lens is, I can take a picture of something, I can look at something with my phone, and it's basically going to do a search for me of items which are that or closely mimic it.
Exactly. And I found the 3 stores on the internet that had that jacket. And I went around for the lowest price because the descriptions were the same. And I'll get it eventually. I'll wear it for you. But
it's like Shazam, except for products.
For products. And and also, like if you're fixing something at home and you need a special screw or you need a certain hex wrench or something
I've done that a bunch of times.
Right? You just tap on the Google Lens icon. You can bring it over to the front of your phone. I don't know how it works for you iPhone people, but it's right on the front of my phone. I tap it. It says, use your camera. Tap that little button, and it takes a picture. Now, think about this. Remember I just told you, I just bought this jacket, and it was a deal, too. I was shocked. It was a great deal. Yeah, probably some fake website. Lose every
You get what you pay for, you know.
Yeah, that's true. But I bought it through Google Pay, so there's some sort of guarantee. Anyway, if you're in a store, just think about this. You take a picture of the box or the item, or you use Google Lens to take a picture. Now, you do that when you're standing in the store. It'll bring up detailed information on the product that you're not going to see on the box. It's going to show you pages with customer reviews, what stores carry it, what different stores charge for it, and if there are nearby retailers who have them, and also similar products.
I have to interrupt you there because my wife and my mother now, because we've shown her how to do it, they swear by this. My wife will be in the store. It's like, oh, I like those shoes. Click, 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 click. And then she'll either order them immediately from Amazon at a lower price or find some other place where it's a lower price.
Right.
On the spot.
Right. I mean, this has really made shopping. I can't even imagine how we used to do it in the old. Remember, we used to call every store. Excuse me, do you have
this in a size 9
right
with white trim?
And then you had to wait like 10 minutes for the guy to walk around the store and come back
and see if they had it in stock.
But do you have it in red? So, that was a big mess. But Google uses AI image recognition technology. And if you're in a store, you need to be sharing your location data because that's the only way if they can tell you there's a store down the street that has the same thing. But beauty products, toys, electrical goods, all share their inventory data with Google. Stores such as Macy's, Target, Walmart, as well as Amazon. So think about it. So 72% of Americans say they use their smartphone while they're in store. More than half say they've left a store empty-handed because they didn't feel confident enough to buy. Now, if you use the Google Lens to get all the information on your product, you can make your decision on that. You don't have to go home and think about it.
I swear by this. You don't have to sell me. I'm just surprised more people don't know about it and haven't utilized it as a function of just their day-to-day living. Anything I can't figure out from, that's an interesting or car or any item that I might want to buy, instant Google Lens, instantly.
Absolutely. But, we change as a society and we forget about certain things. Like I was talking to somebody about KFI just this morning. And they said, well, I can't listen to it. I don't have a radio. You don't have a radio at home? I mean, there's that big talk about AM radios in cars. But an AM radio will save your bacon. Believe you, when I was in the Northridge earthquake, if it wasn't for AM radio, I would have been in trouble.
But the other side of that is, even though we all know the utility of AM radio, unless you are intentional and conscious of going to the store and buying an AM radio for emergency situations, most people are not going to think about it. And the other portion of society, we know how to get our AM stations because of the iHeartRadio app or some other app.
Well, we've just given the tech gift of the week.
Yes, we have.
For the holidays. Get someone who doesn't have one, who didn't even know you could get news and talk on AM radio. Get them an AM radio, and the search that I use is the best signal AM radios, because AM radio can be a little bit touchy when you're talking about in the house.
Oh, yes.
We have a Bose and kind of
got to put it to the window.
Right. And hang up the. But seriously, that's a great gift for anybody in case of an emergency. And you can get them pretty, or you can get them with a hand crank in case there's a power outage.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're giving such great gems tonight. Any particular reason? You're in the zone, as they say in basketball.
It's shopping, man. It's shopping. I love using technology for things that people will actually use. I mean, we've been yapping about this AI. This is where AI is paying off.
Yes.
I don't really care about the quantum computing. Is very important, and it's going to do a lot, but it's not going to help me right now, and probably not in my lifetime. So I like talking to people about stuff you can really use. And, I was just looking at a Christmas tree, and I saw some really cool ornaments, and I used Google Lens. Where did they sell those? Oh, they happen to sell it at Aldic on Sepulveda. Well, there you go.
There you go. If you're just tuning in, Marsha Collier joining us in studio as she usually does during the week, sometimes on Tuesday. Now she's back on Thursday. When we come back, Marsha, I don't know if you heard my conversation earlier this week when I was talking about wearables, our medical information, it being available on platforms which are connected to the cloud, how that invariably is going to be used against us. And I know you have some thoughts about that when we come back.
Oh, I do.
It's later with Mo Kelly. KFI AM 640 live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Electricity.
KFI Mo Kelly and Marsha Collier live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. And I already know where Marsha Collier, I think I know where she's going to come out on this. I was talking about my Pixel Watch earlier in the week and how I love to watch my heart rate, resting heart rate, how many steps I get in a given day. I'm trying to get 20,000 steps a day each day this week.
Look at you.
As a matter of fact, I'm at
picture of health.
I wouldn't say that. 11,500 steps right now for the day. I have a ways to go. But when I get home, I'm going to work out again, so I'll get there.
Will you wear my watch?
I remember my wife, and she's going to get mad at me for saying this. One day, she took her watch and put it on one of the dogs to have him run around the house. I said, I don't know if it's going to register, but you can try. And one time she put it on a ceiling fan. It's like, you were just a cheater.
I love your wife.
Cheater.
I love your wife.
You're a cheater. But anyhow, it's recording health data.
Right.
And I have Fitbit, so it is being stored on an online cloud platform, which can be hacked at any time.
But wait a minute. We haven't addressed the elephant in the room. Fitbit is being discontinued by Google.
Yes.
So what happens now?
Well, that data has to go somewhere, I assume.
Well, let's also tell the listeners that if you're looking at a Fitbit, because they're cheap right now.
There's a reason.
There's a reason why they're cheap right now. And if you'd rather buy one that may not be supported, may not have something going in the future, and may have repair problems, think about it. I would be where I am not buying a Fitbit.
I have a Pixel Watch, which is integrated with Fitbit technology. I don't know going forward whether Google's going to have its own proprietary.
They do. They already have their own.
Yeah. I know they have Google Fit. I assume that they will somehow bridge the gap.
Yeah.
I just don't know what it's going to look like as of yet.
I don't know what it's going to look like either. But right now, I just don't think would pick this year as the year to give a gift of a smartwatch. Speaking of, and I know the hellhole that is the X, it's just a difficult place, but it is your only key to using Grok. Grok is Elon Musk's or X's AI. It is being trained masterfully. Now, remember, you've got Gemini from Google. You've got, I guess it's Siri from iPhone.
Yeah, they're Apple Intelligence.
Apple Intelligence. Yeah. And, they're all out there sucking data. But this one's particularly on Grok. Grok is on X. And Elon had posted, they want to train it to make it a medical diagnostic tool.
Mm-hmm.
And he asked people to load medical test results, CTs, bone scans, so that Grok can learn how to interpret them. So, MRIs, the whole thing, a lot of people have. It's in its early stages, but the more it sees, the more it'll learn.
In the hopes of ultimately that it would be a medical tool in and of itself?
Yes. And what I like about Grok is the fact that they're open about what they're doing and why they want you to share the information. And sharing the information to Grok is voluntary, unlike the 12-page terms of service that you have to sign on the other things.
Can you do it blindly, or does it know that it's my MRI?
No, you can do it blindly. It goes on your account, let's say.
Gotcha.
But, it could be your dog, it could be your cousin, It could be anybody. So it seems in the beginning, it's fully analyzed blood test results, and some users said it identified breast cancer, but it also grossly misinterpreted a bunch of other things. Some physician posted that they put a textbook case of tuberculosis up on Grok, and Grok said it was a herniated disc.
So Grok is going to fail its medical boards at this point, not ready for prime time.
Exactly. The bot also mistook a mammogram of benign breast cyst for an image of testicles. So, so we have a little ways to go with all of this.
Tomato.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Okay. But I think that these, as a second opinion, will be valuable because we can't escape them. When you get your blood test results,
right,
and your doctor gives you all that baloney from that, don't you double check it on the internet? And
of
go
course,
to the
I look
Mayo
at the
Clinic
charts in the high range and low range. It's like, okay, my cholesterol's in the higher range, or whatever the numbers say, so I can understand for myself.
Right. I mean, my cholesterol is only 137, but I have a problem with my small particles of some. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. So in comes Grok, and I'm not using Grok as an example because when the transparency comes to the other. You can still upload all this stuff to ChatGPT also. They will do it. But until there becomes one that becomes a specialist in the medical stuff, I really wouldn't be relying on it.
No.
And a lot of people are. And it's valuable. And I plan on putting dental x-rays up, something,
But is this any different? I know it is, but I think of it in terms of when we get some information, we get on WebMD and we go down the WebMD hole and we think we're trying to self-diagnose ourselves. And
okay, so you take a look at that, of what we're doing, and after we get the blood test, like what we said we do. Think of AI as your brain looking at the blood test, but it has a bazillion sources for it to look at and compare data. And it isn't slow like us with thinking or reading or listening. It can look at a bazillion sources and maybe eventually do the job and give you a good second opinion.
Well, I've always thought of AI in the analogy of it's now in elementary school. And by the time it gets to high school, college, postgraduate, which may be literally 10 to 15 years from now, we may have something that can do what it was originally designed or hoped to do.
Exactly. And the only way it can do that is by getting these things uploaded to them and seeing if they can read the diagnostic or something. I don't know how you can tell it was wrong or anything.
Well, I think of this, the AI in a conceptual sense. We were talking about Google Lens. It looks at something, it identifies something, it relates it to something in its database. This is not all that different. If it looks at certain results and can identify that and then relate it.
A few years ago, before the pandemic, I was working with IBM. And remember their famous computer?
Watson.
Right, Watson. Watson had a deal with the MD Anderson Cancer Hospital in Texas, and they were going to use it for diagnostic purposes. And just what I said, they didn't have enough samples. They really didn't know what they were looking at. The project was abandoned eventually, and that was really sad because it could be a great tool in discovering cancers and things like that.
I thought Watson was going to be the leader, maybe because I was sucked in by Jeopardy shows in which he was beating everyone.
Well, IBM has a good PR department. But then again, Watson we tossed in quantum computing, which I will save that for the new year to explain what quantum computing is.
Yeah, it's going to leave all of conventional computing in the dust.
Exactly. But that's where Watson will go. I mean, Watson will be like a 1995 PC when it comes to quantum computing.
I know you remember the old IBM computers that were size of bookshelves and the tape, the analog tape which was running in them.
One of my first jobs was in a place and they had keyboard. They had a room with just the computer. I think it was an IBM 360. I'm not sure. And they had these giant tapes and they had these stations where these people sat.
Like a desk.
Right?
Yeah.
And they had stacks of key punch cards, which were about the size of a number 10 envelope. It was a heavyweight card and there were holes punched in it. And the holes were punched in because these people would type in data and the proper holes would be punched in the card. So then a giant stack of these cards would be put in a hopper and they would go into the computer. Did you like that?
One more time, please. Got it. Okay.
Okay, that's a sounder, right? But anyway, they'd go into the computer, then it'd be transferred to the tape, and out would come data. And this would still be faster than anybody could do it without.
That's what they use basically for the moon missions.
Exactly. There was more technology in iPhones and Android phones maybe 10 years ago than there was in the Redstone rocket that Alan Shepard went up in.
Yeah.
Mo?
Look, it's growing exponentially. Who knows what this technology and AI will look like in 10 years? Just 10 years.
But we're going to keep you posted on the fun stuff because really, I'm no Einstein. That's the truth.
But we'll go through this together. Marsha Collier, it's always great to see you.
Thank you, Mo, and have a happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Hey, are you coming out to Pastathon on December 3rd? Well, check your calendar. Let us know.
I will check my calendar because I don't know where it is. But
it's always at the Anaheim White House.
Okay. If you're going to be there.
Yes, all of the KFI lineup will be there.
I think maybe I need pasta. What's the date again?
December 3rd.
That's the day before my birthday.
Yes, you'll be 24.
That's it. Everybody can see that if I show up.
I'll see you soon.
All righty.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Oh, later with Mo Kelly on KFI AM 640.
Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. And the headline is LeBron James, obviously superstar with the Los Angeles Lakers. He announced yesterday that he's leaving social media. It's unclear whether he's leaving it temporarily or if it's going to be permanently. He gave the indication that it was probably going to be temporarily, but he's at least going to take a break from social media. He said that he was going to leave X, but that's a part of his larger social media presence. He posts the most, or did post the most, on X/Twitter. And I know that he can be polarizing with some of his posts, but LeBron James said he's leaving due to the level of negativity. This is something that I have a complex view of LeBron James. I'm not necessarily his biggest fan in a basketball sense, but I can respect that he's one of the game's greatest players. This is year 22, and he's still at the top of his game. He's one of the best to ever do it. I don't think he's one of the best Lakers because he hasn't been with the Lakers long enough to earn that distinction. He's only won one ring, and I'm a Magic Johnson fan to the very end. But I can understand what he is saying, and I can understand on a very small level what he likely has been feeling, if only because if you are a public figure, or at least if you're on social media with your real name, your real face, and they know that you are the person monitoring that account, not just some publicist, not some intern. There may be in addition to you, but they know that LeBron James looks at his own social media accounts. The type of vitriol that you're going to receive from, in his case, millions of people who are nameless, faceless, who don't have any reservation to say whatever they want about whomever they want, including him, his son, family members, whatever. And if you've ever really been on social media, and I don't assume everyone has, but if you've ever been on social media, you know that there is no limit and there is no basement as to what people will say. And they'll do it under the cover of anonymity. And if you are a public figure like LeBron James, you cannot respond in the way that they've come at you. And I understand that on a very small level because I know how people will come at me on social media.
At Mr. Mo Kelly.
Right. You'll find me on X at Mr. Mo Kelly, or you won't. But the point is, they'll hide their face. They'll hide their profile. It'll be a private profile or be a fake picture, no bio. And they will say absolutely anything, knowing good and well if they said it in person to either LeBron James or any reasonable individual, they would get knocked the F out. They would. But, anonymity is almost like liquid courage, and it provides an opportunity for people to say things knowing that they're actually going to reach the person that they wouldn't say normally. And we're all people. And after a certain point, you may just get tired of it. I know that all the stuff that's been said to me, and I'm not some victim, I'm just saying it's a statement of fact. All the things which are said to me, I cannot respond in kind. There are times I would like to, and I can be very creative in how I respond, and I can have some fun with it. And sometimes I can tee you up. I can post what you say, that I can come with some sort of witticism in return and then block you. But I cannot say the things that you say to me. LeBron James cannot say the things that you say to him. And just because you make millions and millions of dollars, it does not mean that you have some sort of right to say whatever you want to that person. It doesn't mean that because he or she is on social media that you and then are entitled to say whatever. Now, I'm not saying this against the law. This is not a free speech conversation. This is a decency conversation. And I talk about this with Tuala all the time. You are free in a legal sense to say just about whatever you want, whatever insult you want. Just know, especially with Tuala, if you say that same ish in person, there's a freedom of response. That free speech works both ways. And the response may not be what you want. I'll give you a perfect example. I could walk up to Mark Rodder and say, hey, you a-hole.
You wouldn't dare.
I wouldn't because I love you too much. But hypothetically, if I were to say, hey, you a-hole, and then hit you in the face, I can control what I do, but I can't control how you would respond.
I would turn the other cheek, Mo.
Not if you're driving.
Oh. Well, I didn't say which cheek.
Okay. My point is, I understand why someone like LeBron James would take a step back. And the common refrain that I hear is, no need to announce you're leaving. This is not an airport. Yeah, I get that. And there is something to that. But at the same time, I don't begrudge him for doing it and saying it, if only because he's sending a message that sometimes it is too much. And sometimes you think that it's okay to say whatever you want, however you want, about whomever you want to that person or the people in their family. But it does pile up after a while. It does. And you can't have it both ways. You can't say in the sense of, okay, you want to, there is something I would say cool, air quotes, about having people that you can reach like a LeBron James. Because 20 years ago, before social media, there's no way you'd ever be able to contact LeBron James. You can write a letter to the Lakers or something, and maybe you get a response, fan mail in the traditional sense. But now, you can reach just about whomever you want, including politicians, entertainers, athletes, because of social media. Because more times than not, they actually maintain their own social media accounts. And you can have a conversation with LeBron James. He may not always acknowledge what you say, but there's a good chance that he may see what you've said. And people take that to the nth degree, and they try to say the most outlandish things in the hopes that he'll either see it and or respond.
If you're still on Twitter, and I know you've left, Mo, but William Shatner's still on Twitter. And he has been taking on assorted trolls, and
yes, he has.
He has still got his wits about him 100%. It's been really entertaining watching him take people down who think they're going to take a run at a 93-year-old man.
And he has, I would say, the blessing of being at a point in his life where there really aren't any consequences to anything that he does. He can say whatever he wants. You can't cancel him. It's not like you're going to get his show canceled or him kicked off or something. There's nothing for him to lose.
Well, and he's just provoked by a bunch of morons who are nothing more than trolls. They're not even funny. They're just saying rude things because they can.
Yeah.
And generally anonymously, which to me is just a massive mark of cowardice.
Massive.
If you're coming at a public figure who everybody knows their name, their identity, and yours isn't public as well, you're a coward.
I say it all the time. All the time. If you're going to talk mess to me, at least come with your real name, your real photo, and a public profile, because I'm doing it. At least meet me halfway. And I get any number of people who want to say some slick stuff on one of my social media pages. And I say, look, you can do that on your page. You can do whatever, you can say whatever you want about me, and I won't say anything on your page or even the official KFI page. But if you come to my social media, then you're going to have to act like you have some home training and some manners. I'm being serious. It's not a lot to ask. It's not a lot. I am not going to provide a space for you to just come and insult me racially or otherwise, and I'm supposed to take it well because, my page is public. No, my pages are public because they're for friends, family, and if you happen to like what I do, beautiful. But that's not a license for you to act like an ass.
No, I actually don't think the internet should be anonymous.
I'm waiting, and I know Clubhouse tried to do it to a certain degree. I'm waiting for these social media sites to actually require some sort of identity verification to get a profile. And that will be probably the best social media site. But social media platforms and providers, they don't want to do that because it limits the amount of engagement. It limits the amount of users. For all the talk about we hate bots and trolls, no, they don't, because they still want the unique users. They still want that interaction. They still want that movement of the platform.
I think if enough people migrate away from the places that have just become sewers, and I wouldn't dream of naming any place in specific, they're going to get the message sooner or later.
We'll see. We'll see. I mean, because they always talk about freedom of speech. Well, part of freedom of speech is freedom to leave. And people will leave, and they will spend their time and their energy in places that they feel is most beneficial or most enjoyable. I have a problem with Threads right now. You get on Threads, everybody's asking a dumbass question that they could have found out just in 2 seconds of Google. It's like, why is the sky blue? And they do it what they call rage bait, knowing that people are going to say, why the hell are you posting this? Why are you doing this dumb-ish? And so Threads is just I'll say regressed into just stupid banter.
So Threads is nothing but that and AI-generated MILFs, as far as I can tell.
Yeah. It's like, okay, this is not a real profile.
No.
It's just like 5 pictures you put up yesterday, and all of a sudden you want to know about me? Nah. Not falling for it. It's Later with Mo Kelly, KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. In fact, I'm going to continue this conversation into the next segment because I have some other thoughts I want to share on this as far as leaving social media and some of you trolls out there who think you're slick.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
14th annual KFI Pastathon is here. Chef Bruno's charity. Caterina's Club provides more than 25,000 meals every week to kids in need in Southern California. Your generosity makes it happen. There are 3 ways to help. You can donate now at KFIAM640.com/Pastathon. And you can shop at any Smart and Final store and donate any amount at checkout. You can head into any Wendy's restaurant in Southern California and donate $5 or more and get a coupon book for Wendy's goodies. And of course, our all-day live broadcast from the Anaheim White House will be on Giving Tuesday, which is December 3rd. Come on out and see us anytime from 5 a.m. through Later with Mo Kelly, ending at 10 p.m. Donate on-site, drop off pasta and or sauce donations. As always, 100% of your donation goes to Caterina's Club. We have some special events coming up tomorrow and Saturday. Tomorrow, Tim Conway Jr. will be broadcasting live at the brand new Wendy's in Mission Viejo, which is 23022 Alicia Parkway. Come by and say hello to Tim and the gang. Donate $5 or more in store and get a coupon book. And also Saturday from 2 to 5 p.m., the Fork Report with Neil Saavedra will be broadcasting live at Spartan Final in Lake Forest, which is 23631 El Toro Road. Come by, say hello to Neil, maybe get a Thanksgiving turkey, and make a donation. KFI Pastathon. And if you can't do it there, you can always do it at pastathon.com. You can get all the information there. If I got some time, maybe I'll roll out and say hello to Neil. Haven't seen him in a while because our schedules are so different. But, Lake Forest is a long-ass drive. But I'll do it for Neil. Before we finish up this hour, and I'll be joined on the line by Sarah Brightman, one of the greatest sopranos of all time. That's coming up at the top of the hour. Before we do that, got to finish this conversation talking about social media. And I am understandably older than most when it comes to this social media generation. I came up prior to social media. I am much more aggressive when it comes to a-holes. I just am. And people say some stuff online they wouldn't dare say in person. If you want to have a discussion with me, and I can't speak for anyone else, if you want to have a discussion with me, it's like, Mo, I heard you say X, Y, and Z, and I really got a problem with that, or I think you're wrong. I am all for that. You can send me a direct message on Instagram or on Facebook, and we can have that discussion. You can be snarky, you can be smart aleck, good. But the moment you start with personal insults, we've crossed into a different type of interaction. Really different. And I got to remind folks, you don't know me like that. I don't care if you hate everything I have to say. You don't know me like that. And I don't speak to anyone directly. I have people reach out to me and say, you said this and I was offended and you were talking about me. It's like, I don't know who you are, dude. I talk about stuff. I talk about LA City Council. I talk about homelessness. I talk about Metro. I'm not talking about any particular person or group, and I'm very conscious of that. I don't talk about groups of people. That is not by coincidence, because I'm aware of how people can misinterpret that. I talk about people, specific people's behavior. I talk about Diddy and his specific behavior. I don't talk about a group of people. I'm talking about him. I may talk about the methods employed by a group of people. And I say, hey, when you're protesting this way or that way, it's ineffective. But I'm not insulting the group of people. But sometimes people take it very personally and they come at me on social media and they want to make personal remarks, usually racial. And here's something about that, since I'm thinking about it. Know that when you racially insult me, you're not only racially insulting me. That's inclusive of everyone who looks like me. That's inclusive of my mother. That's inclusive of my sister. That's inclusive of Tuala Sharp. That's inclusive of everyone in my family, friends. So you have to remember, if you want to go there with me, it's going to be received very differently. You're not only talking about me. And I only ask for a modicum of respect. That's it. We can debate, we can disagree, but once you start with personal insults, Stefan will tell you, block, immediate. Mo, you are such a freaking block. You know, Tuala, remember the time where you had someone inbox you saying that you need to like whip my ass to get myself in shape?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. There have been too many occasions where people have gotten beside themselves. I remember one classic moment where someone was hurling insults behind a fake profile, and the threats that this individual received in return were such that he was very uncomfortable. And when you said, I dare you put up a real profile so I can see who I'm talking to. And he eventually put up a photo, his real photo of himself, and he was differently abled. He was in a wheelchair and this, that, and the other. And it's like, come and say that in my face. And I think his response was, that's very rude. I can't. And this,
I
that,
remember
and the other,
that. Yeah.
And all that. And it was like, now you see how it really is when you really, really try to when you want to cross that line. And as you say all the time, turn me back into the old me.
Yes.
Then it's a different story. That's why I'm off X. I can't even enjoy your witty comebacks anymore because I get too amped up. Social media is not for people like us. It's just not.
Yeah, people don't know me like that. I'm the person who's had his life threatened, who would go to music industry events and shooting may pop off. It's like social media does not faze me. If you have something to say to me, then we can talk about it as men. But that's the thing I couldn't deal with X, because someone always had something to say anonymously about some stuff that usually wasn't even true, making up stuff, saying, well, you said this. No, I didn't. Yes, you did. I have a damn podcast. This is not a debate. This is not a debate.
That was always my favorite, when they would accuse you of saying something when you were not even on the air at that time.
Oh, that's even different. You know, I say all this to say, I understand why LeBron James may say, you know what, I'm going to take a step back. I'm going to take a step back. And you can call him a coward. You can call him anything. I'm just saying, if you had to deal with what someone like LeBron James had to deal with, and you had to use your real face, your real name, you probably would change some of your real behavior. It's Later with Mo Kelly, KFI AM 640, live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app.
Your vaccine for stupidity. KFI.
And KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live